Mets owner finally speaks out. This is insane. With the Mets currently in a tailspin that's lasted over 2 weeks now, with mounting pressure from the fans and media, Steve Cohen has posted a message on X. In hopes to calm down a rather panicky fan base, we'll dive into whether or not his message resonated with fans and what exactly the team can do to improve from here. I am Adam Choit, your host for today on Mets Digest. And before we dig in, I'd like to remind you guys to please subscribe because as you can see, based on this statistic, we'll look into some runners in scoring position statistics later, but this statistic here shows that nearly 70% of you guys who are watching these videos are not subscribed, so please be sure to click subscribe, like the video, share the videos. All of that is definitely appreciated for sure. So let's get into it. Stop the presses, Steve Cohen has tweeted. And things have certainly changed in the last couple of weeks for this team. That is certainly true. No one saw this coming. The Mets were the best in Major League Baseball on June 12th, and since then, the worst. What a tweet, what a post right there from Jon Heyman. And I'll continue to use both tweet and post, so don't get on me about that. But you can see Jon Heyman, baseball writer here, tweeting that no one saw this coming. The Mets actually had the best record in baseball not that long ago, June 12th, and since then the worst. Baseball is certainly a very, very strange sport. And after much yelling and screaming online and offline, and I'm sure on the radio stations as well from Mets fans, this gentleman here, Steve Cohen, finally has responded with a public statement, and we are going to get into it right now. Tough stretch, no sugarcoating it. I didn't see this coming. I'm as frustrated as everybody else. We will get through this period. Our injured pitching will come back over the next few weeks. It is unlikely the team's hitting with runners in scoring position will continue at this weak pace. Keep the faith. I think that's a good message. I think it is an appreciated message. We must remember that Steve Cohen, as an owner, is also a fan. He is, as much as a billionaire can be, one of us for sure. And he cares about the team. He cares about winning. He's not a detached owner. And what else can he really say? As I went over in my previous video talking about some of the Carlos Mendoza quotes, some of the Lindor quotes coming out, very professional, showing great leadership, being honest with the team and the state of the team is something that we should appreciate it, because for the first time, really, since I can ever remember being a Mets fan, you kind of have that synergy from ownership to GM to management to manager to team leader on the field in terms of Lindor. And it may not seem that way at the moment as the team is in a tailspin, but things could get even worse potentially if the Mets don't, should the Mets not have this pipeline of leadership from ownership down to the field itself. So that is something we should appreciate, an honest owner. But I don't know that I believe him. He's saying keep the faith. He's attempting to give us the Aaron Rodgers relax sort of vibe and relax tweet post here. But just looking a little bit deeper into even the grammar and the format and the structure of this tweet, it doesn't exactly come across as someone who's calm. I see exclamation points. I see spaces here in between in between where there shouldn't be spaces. It looks like he almost was forced to say this, and he kind of was in a way, because because fans were expecting transactions. I think some fans probably were expecting transactions to happen today. We thought maybe some of us were hoping that maybe heads would roll and there would be transactions of players and people getting DFA'd and coaches being released, but that is not the case. We shall see how the next week or so plays out for the Mets, but Steve Cohen is definitely trying to send us a calm down everybody message. And let's get into some of the reaction that we had to Steve Cohen's message. We got to believe the Twitter X account is pretty much on brand here, saying believe in Steve and Stearns. And they have kind of earned that. I think they have earned some of our respect and for us to have a little bit more patience with the team. Very tough coming off of what's going on the last couple of weeks, especially after the awful, historically terrible sweep in Pittsburgh. But here we got to believe on brand, telling us to continue to believe in the team. Here's Wardy responding directly to Steve Cohen's tweet. While I see the optimism still in this current ring of fire surrounding the club, the runners in scoring position woes have been a constant, as you know. Hard to envision this as something that will significantly change when a half-season sample size has shown the New York Mets as a bottom feeder in this category. Whether it's a group coming together or key trades made to spark the club, something has got to give there. Thank you for continuing to tell it how it is, Steve. There's no other owner out there that does such a thing with their fans on this level. There really isn't. I can't think of another owner that would probably be that honest with the team. Usually it's rah, 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 or somebody totally detached is what you get with these billionaire owners from the team. So it is kind of a cool, interesting, sort of fun dynamic even to have an owner as a team who cares as much as the fans and wants to win as much as the fans do. But let's dive a little deeper in some more reaction to the Steve Cohen quote. Particularly, let's dive deeper into, again, I'm going to continue on a theme from my last video, that runners in scoring position theme. So let's look at some runners in scoring position numbers here. Here's the account Just Mets saying, reporting that you'd hope it doesn't continue, but the Mets have been consistently bad with runners in scoring position all year long. Excuse me. March and April, 224, 24th. In May, they were hitting 195, and in June, 232. You can see 24th, 30th, and 22nd, respectively. Just not good. I appreciate that breakdown. That pretty much says it all when it comes to the Mets runners in scoring position hitting woes this season. Just awful. That really does say it all. Here's the breakdown of a further breakdown of some of the clutch statistics. As you can see here, these are the Mets team statistics, their clutch stats. And just looking at those bottom three there, we see 2 outs runners in scoring position, behind, and then late and close. That's pretty much their worst OPS. That is their worst OPS. So even in not only are they bad with runners in scoring position, in the clutch, most important situations, perhaps of all, 2 outs runners in scoring position, behind, and late and close. That's when they are their worst. And this was a apologies for not having it up, but last year this is where the Mets excelled here with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. This year, 258 or 658 OPS as a team, just putrid, just awful. That's just not going to get it done if you want to be a contender in this league. But hopefully the Mets can turn it around soon enough. We shall see. That remains to be seen. I want to talk about this guy, and I want to talk about some things that the Mets can do to make some changes, potential changes. This is Paul Blackburn here. I want to dive into some of the some potential things the Mets can do to improve the team, and as well as reflect back on what's been going on with the injuries in the last couple of weeks. So let's do that. I have a couple of graphics here that we can look at. This is from Danny Abriano of SNY. He's had a couple of good pieces come out the last couple of days that I think are worth reading some passages from, some quotes from. So what do the Mets need to do to turn around the season that still has so much promise? The first thing is to stop being almost robotically measured when it comes to starting pitchers who are getting chances as the Mets await to the returns of Manaea and Senga. That starts with Paul Blackburn, who allowed 3 runs on 6 hits in 1 inning against the Pirates on Saturday. In his start before that, Blackburn surrendered 3 runs on 6 hits in 4 2/3 innings against the Braves. And the start that preceded that one, he lasted just 3 2/3 while giving up 4 runs, 3 earned against Atlanta. Blackburn is not offering length or effectiveness. That's the big line right there. With a 7.71 ERA and a 1.98 WHIP in 6 games, that's 4 starts this season. He's lined up to face the Yankees on Friday at Citi Field in the Subway Series opener. That Yankees team has scored 422 runs, good for second in the American League, behind the Tigers. That is definitely a story to watch as this week progresses, if Paul Blackburn is actually going to get that start or it will be somebody else. Let's dig a little deeper into some other potential options that the Mets can explore to improve the team. There aren't any perfect options to replace Blackburn in the rotation, but there are two intriguing ones who happen to be tremendous prospects with immense upside. There's Nolan McLean, who last pitched on June 27th, could be called up for Friday's game and not have to alter his schedule much. He's been terrific this season with AA Binghamton and AAA Syracuse with a 2.25 ERA and a 1.16 whip in 76 innings. That's 12 starts with 2 relief appearances. Then there's Brandon Sproat, whose season in Syracuse has been up and down, but who has been much better lately. Sproat, intentionally pitching much more to contact this year instead of trying to blow everyone away, fired 6 scoreless innings on June 28th while allowing 2 hits, walking 3, and striking out 6. He has allowed 2 runs or fewer in 6 of his last 7 starts. The Mets should choose one of them to come up on Friday and start in his place of Blackburn. Big stage, be damned. That's Danny Abriano of SNY, making some rather bold statements there, essentially strongly suggesting that the Mets ought to pull Blackburn from the rotation and go with more of a younger unknown. And that is insane. What is insane is this losing streak, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I think the Mets are definitely clamoring for something different, for something to give, as Wardy mentioned earlier. Something has to give. They have to keep trying some new things, throw the young guys in there. Maybe some of them are not ready. Maybe they might be rushed a little bit. But I don't think that you're going to damage an entire pitcher's career if they have one shaky start in major leagues. Because we know we're just not getting effectiveness or length from Blackburn. So the Mets definitely need to explore some other potential solutions in the rotation. And here's another quote from Danny Abriano. A 40-man roster would be needed, but New York has about a half a dozen fungible spots that could be tweaked to make room. Apropos of nothing, Jonah Tong should also be in AAA. He's been toying with hitters in AA to the tune of a 1.73 ERA, a .91 whip, and 115 strikeouts in 73 innings. So he has been a good pitcher. And that's nice to see. So there is some hope for the Mets, perhaps coming down the pipeline. The last couple of weeks could be a distant memory should the Mets play well against Milwaukee this week. But let's see how things shake out. Hopefully things will turn around for the team. Let's go Mets. Please remember to subscribe, click like, share the videos, comment. What do you think? You think the Mets are going to snap out of it? What can be done about the rotation? We'll continue to dive deeper, I'm sure, into the minor league pitching coming up, as well as explore some potential trade opportunities as the trade deadline approaches. But again, subscribe, like, comment, share. Definitely appreciated. And let's go Mets.